Is there a candy box that is perfect? What do you think? Like a Halloween candy box.
There's a Skittles one.
You know what? I will say that one is perfect. If you're not going for chocolate, if you're going for candy, I'm pretty sure that one's
It's like-
perfect. Skittles, Sweet Tarts,
Um,
Starburst. It's
pretty good.
And I think it's Rockets. And like it's like the fucking
yeah.
Yeah.
There's not really one, because you're right, because they always put the one weird one in there. For me, it's Smarties. I will eat them, but I'm not like, it was like Coffee Crisp, Arrow, and Kit Kat. It's like the most bomb box. And then they put Smarties, and you're like, fudgicle.
It's true. They got O. Henry. They got Kit Kat.
Yeah, Hershey's.
O. Henry. Yeah. Sorry, I said O. Henry already. A Kit Kat. They got something else. Is that the one that has Twix too?
Yeah, no,
No,
I
no,
don't
no.
have Twix in
There's
mine.
one that has Twix that's like the fucking bomb. It's
I
got
have
M&Ms.
cookies and cream in mine. You're
Yes.
right. You're
Yes.
right. You got the peanut M&Ms, Twix,
Yeah.
which are my two favorite.
And then it's got Hershey's cookie and cream bar.
Yes.
It's got non-peanut M&Ms. It's got regular M&Ms.
Yeah.
And then it's got, I feel like there's a dud in that one too. I'm trying to remember what it is. No, I think it's got Reese's peanut butter cups. No, maybe I'm wrong on that.
I don't know. I don't.
I feel like there's a dud though.
There's always a dud.
Actually, the other dud is like the Arrow bar in the Kit Kat one.
I don't mind Arrow.
I'm not a fan of Arrow.
Oh, it's a little airy. I like it.
No, I don't like it. My wife loves it. She loves it with like her tea. She's a big like tea drinker, and she loves it with tea. But
She loves it with tea. Stop. She's so cute.
what up, homies? It's your boy Stev. Today I'm here with my sister Ash,
Hi.
and we are talking a documentary.
Well, now let's take our first one.
Yeah, it is our first one. I guess. Yeah, it is actually our first one. This is an Ashley pick. She chose it. Full title. It's a Hulu documentary called "Monster Inside America's Most Extreme Haunted House."
Mm-hmm.
Ashley, talk about it. Why this movie?
So it is on Hulu, but for us, it's on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
So you can watch it on Disney Plus. So I heard about this haunted house, in quotations, haunted house, a few years ago, and I've been kind of hearing about it here and there. And then I saw they had a documentary on TikTok, and I went, oh my God, I gotta watch this. And when you hear about it, you're like, oh, okay, that's pretty creepy. But the fact that they released the videos of it all happening, it's wild. So I don't really get creeped out very, like, not grossed out in a way, but like Tusk did screw me up though. Stupid Tusk. But there are some parts where I kind of went, oh, and I couldn't really watch it. Like, it's just too much. So when we were talking about Halloween, I thought, oh, what if we got kind of away from the horror movies for a second and let's actually talk about something that is very real. This is an actually real thing, and it is happening, and it's probably happening right now live while we're talking.
It's true. So you're right.
wild.
Like getting away from like the traditional horror movie.
Yeah.
But here's the thing that's actually interesting about it, because it does totally fit the Halloween theme, because it is, especially the beginning, the opening, like we'll say 10 minutes is very much, it sets it up as a movie about horror movies.
Yeah, about
it's a documentary about horror movies, not necessarily like to the extent that it's people who love horror movies that like want to experience it for real.
Yeah.
Like in real life. So like they go to extremes to get that high, right? So do you want to explain what it is exactly?
Okay, so the place is called Macamee Manor, and there's this man named Russ Macamee, who's American, and he wanted to open up a haunted house, but he wanted to open up the scariest haunted house, you know, like where you go in a cornfield and people like actually touch you and they actually like, you know, not like extreme. They don't do anything extreme, right? Just to scare you. And every year he made it more and more scary, but what it turned into is a torture house. So you have to last 8.5 hours plus. It's like 8+ hours. And if you last, you get something ridiculous like $20,000.
Yeah.
To enter is a bag of dog food. And so it's pretty much free. And So you go into this haunted house, and the reason for it is these people torture you, but really, like real torture you. They waterboard you, they bury you. But the main part of the thing is that they ask you your greatest fear, and they put you in a situation with it. So the one girl is afraid of spiders, so they put like a giant tarantula on her face. One girl is afraid of claustrophobia, so they locked her in like a deep freezer, and they put the lock on it for hours. They just left her in there in the dark for hours alone, stuff like that. And it's actually pretty wild because when you're watching the documentary, you're like, who on earth would do that? But you don't understand. They have thousands of applicants.
Yeah.
Thousands and thousands.
According to him, he has like, was it 27,000 or something?
He's like, I get new emails, thousands a day.
Yeah.
It's insane.
And it's two a day, like
two
at
people
a time.
A day.
And it's like twice a week or something, he said, right?
Yeah, I'm not too sure, but
yeah.
There is, yeah, and if you can last, no one's ever won because they literally do the most. And I'll explain one when we're talking later about it. And that's just one thing, but the fact that he records it live.
Yeah.
And you're actually watching the real footage and you think you've seen people break down, you haven't. Like when you watch this, you're like, oh, that person literally thinks they're going to die. And it's wild when you see it.
But, and that's the thing too, it's not just psychological torture. Like they're literally beating the fuck out of people too.
They like completely like, there's one I want to say, but I can't say it. But
okay,
like,
we'll talk about
but yeah,
spoilers,
they're like breaking your bones. They're doing anything they can to make you stop, right? Mm-hmm. And it's wild because the waterboarding, and they put you in like a well, and you have to get out, but there's no way out. But the only way to get out is you have to get out, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
they're not going to help you, and it's wild just thinking about like, so what I have thought about. And in my deep thoughts about this movie is that I'm trying to figure out why people would want to do it. Because there's a chick on there that's done it twice.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, there's a guy who was in Iraq who did it. And the only logical thing I could come up with is, oh, it's because they don't fear death.
Yeah,
where
maybe.
Their life is, they don't care. The guy is like, I was in Iraq. I don't care. Like, life sucks. Life is horrible. And they go into this because they're going to fear for their life again. And it gives them purpose to life. It's the only thing I could think of. Because then they're like, oh, I actually do fear death. I don't want to be dead. I realize that now. You've given me a purpose to life.
Yeah.
Because why would that chick do it twice? It doesn't make sense. She just kind of said it gives her purpose. It kind of, and I can't figure it out.
Yeah.
I would be ballsy enough to get there. Once I see some of the stuff in the documentary, I go, oh, I'd be out.
Yeah, and that's what's so okay.
Because it starts off so tame.
It's okay. I will say too, it's a very unflattering documentary to the. It's very much.
I should have said that.
Yeah,
it's not pro
this.
Yeah,
this
McKinley Manor,
so
whatever.
The whole thing's run by this gentleman by the name. So it's Macamee. It's
Macamee
Manor. It's run by a gentleman by the name of Russ Macamee, and it's very anti-Russ Macamee. This documentary. Yeah. It's very like. So there's a whole thing too. You get there, you sign a like 27-page waiver that pretty much says they could like
do whatever
they could break
want.
your bones. They could do whatever. Yeah, which is like okay, like. But then and that's the thing too. And then like, it's very much a bunch of people complaining about their experiences after seeing videos online of people getting the shit kicked out of them and being like, don't fucking come here. And then they go there and they're like, I don't know what I was expecting. And it's like, well, I mean, that's my biggest issue with the documentary. It's a lot of people complaining about like, I was reading reviews after, and pretty much every review, there was like one or two that were like 10 out of 10, and you could tell it's like, must be the filmmaker's mom or something.
Yeah, literally. Yeah.
But a lot of them were like a lot of the conclusions were like he did this, and it's like, well, fucking duh. Like, yeah, that's exactly what he said he was going to do.
Yeah.
Like, what did you think was going to happen? Like, so that's my only real issue with the documentary. But so I did enjoy it though. I thought that was actually, the whole thing was actually very fascinating.
I watched the whole thing with no I didn't even do what I was actually doing. I stopped to watch this.
Yeah.
Because I was so blown away that this is a thing.
Yeah, even like the idea, even the escalation, like it starts out very tame, like you said, and then it gets to pretty much torture, like literal torture chamber.
Yeah.
Where it's like, what?
Because
the
you
fuck?
watch him put mud on a guy's face and burying him alive with mud, and
Yeah,
it's like,
and the guy's
and
like
the guy's
bleeding.
like, please stop, and he's like, boom, and it's like, holy. And to jump on something you said, where it's like it's negative impact. There's this one part where it's a girl and his girlfriend.
Yeah.
And all of his girlfriends do it. They're all young and hot, and they all do it. And there's a part of the video, you'll see it, where there's two girls sitting side by side. And the one girl has her head shaved. And she has, like, poop and whatever all over her, and mud and dirt. And she's, like, cut up and bruised. And then she looks over at the girl that was doing it with her, and she looks completely normal.
Yeah.
And he's like, does that piss you off? And she's like, yeah, it pisses me off. Why does she get to look like that? And I have to leave looking like this.
Yeah.
And it shows you that, like, they're just there just to like torture you as much as they can, but yet whenever it's someone that he likes.
But even, you're right, even like pitting them against each other though, like, because you go in with a partner,
Yeah.
and then it's like it's really messed up. But even like you were even talking about the dude who was buried alive and he was bleeding, like that was his friend who like was his photographer and stuff. But like, and then he was like, for some reason he kept burying me. And it's like, dude, you fucking take the, like, what did you expect? I don't know.
Yeah, I know.
That's my one issue with the movie. I do feel like it was very biased in one direction. I do feel like they should have.
Great question.
Right?
Great answer.
And like,
They should have maybe done some pro.
like some people, because there's a
Macadamia.
lot of, because they complain a lot about how are people on his side, how he has a cult following him. It's like, well, if you know that, why wouldn't you get a few interviews with these quote
Right.
unquote
Well, they
cult
did,
members?
because the one chick worked for him.
Yeah, but
forever.
but it was still very negative. It was still like, I can't
guess.
believe I worked for him. It's like, okay, I just think I'm of the opinion if you're going to do a documentary about something, it should be
Both
from
sides,
both
always.
perspectives, and we as an audience should form our own opinions based off of that. Like, and a great example is like a murder mystery, I guess is, but like, yeah, like we'll just say some guy is in jail for murdering his girlfriend. And make it, if you're gonna make a documentary about that, like there's a podcast called Serial that's very good. I recommend it for anybody who loves like murder. I keep saying murder mystery, but that's not quite, you know what I mean, like true crime podcast. There it
Okay.
is, true crime podcasts. There it is. So the first season of all the seasons of Serial are awesome, but the first season is about this guy who like murdered his girlfriend allegedly, and he's been in jail for like 20 years, and the whole documentary is them trying to prove that he didn't do it. But but that's it. So like episode 1 is, this is why we think he didn't do it. But then there's the second episode, which is like, yeah, but like, these are the reasons why we think he's guilty.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of like evidence that it's hard to like, it's like, yeah, don't get me wrong, I like the guy and I think he's innocent, but like, there's a lot of evidence against him. There's a lot of like, that's not circumstantial. You
Yeah.
see what I'm saying? And then there's a third episode where it's like, but then there's this. And then there's the fourth episode where it's like, but what if this person lied during the testimony and stuff? You know what I mean? Like, because there's a lot of evidence where it's like testimonial, but it's like, what if this person lied? Do you know what I mean? So it's like,
Because there are shows that are like that I've watched where I'm like, oh my God, oh wait, and then I keep flip-flopping.
yeah. And
There
it's
are shows that do that.
like earlier we were talking about like Making a Murderer is
Yeah.
like kind of something similar. I do think that's also a very biased show in the opposite direction, where
Yeah.
it's like, it's very much like they're going out of their way to be like, he's innocent. But like, I'm of the opinion that a documentary's point should be to make an argument, a debate, we'll say, on a particular issue, and then as an audience, because we're smart people,
Yeah.
we
Develop
should
our own thoughts.
our own
opinions.
on what we think
Yeah.
happened. And that's my only issue with this documentary is they could have just very easily gotten somebody, a perspective to say like, yeah, but like,
This is the good that it's doing for people,
Yeah.
or
if there is, I don't know. That's
Yeah.
like, I don't know, because I don't, apparently, apparently there's a bunch of documentaries on YouTube that I haven't looked for, unfortunately. But they're the opposite end. They're very like biased in the other sense. They're
Okay.
like very like, no, this is a really good thing. It's a really good thing. But even like the girl, like the documentary opens with a video of a random girl. I don't think they ever introduce her. And it's after everything's done. And they ask her, like, how you feeling? And she's like, I feel humiliated. Like, they beat the shit out of me, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, was it worth it? And she was like, oh, it was one of the best experiences of my life.
Yeah, it was everything I wanted.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever the fuck she said. Exactly. But it's like, get that fucking person. Let's talk to her. Like, that's a good person.
Let's talk to her.
Like, no, don't get me wrong. You do. But, like, even, like, the girl that you said, again, we're kind of getting into spoiler detail a little bit because this is technically a spoiler. But there's one girl.
I don't even think there's a...
Oh, the one girl, because it turns out the one interviewee, the, like, talking head, actually worked with them.
Yeah.
But, like,
because it was wild because she went through it
and then started
and
working
then
with him.
working for him. She's like, I'm obsessed with you. I have to.
And then all of a sudden now he's a piece of shit. And it's just like, well, okay, well, hold up. You went through it and then you started working with him. So obviously,
and then you went through it a second time.
Yeah. But, like, I think her interpretation, or, like, her, like, what she's saying is it got worse after her. She was an early one, and then, like, he kept pushing the boundaries and pushing the boundaries and pushing the boundaries, which really is, I mean, that is definitely an issue, because, like, that is something that would that is something that would happen. Is like, somebody realizes they can get away with a crime, and it's like, well, I'm just gonna keep fucking pushing it, right?
Yeah.
So before we get this, I guess, I mean, we'll just go right into spoilers. Do you want to give this a rating out of 10, or?
I actually really liked it.
Yeah.
I thought it was a great documentary. I really learned everything that I needed to know.
Yeah.
I can't tell you what state because they moved a couple of times. I think the last one is in Ohio, but I'm not sure because he had to keep moving because he kept getting shut down.
Yeah.
Because they're in an undisclosed location, blah, blah, blah. But still, honestly, I would actually rewatch this right now. I'd probably give it an 8.
Okay. I'm going to give it like a 6.5, almost. Like,
okay.
I
completely agree with what you're saying, though.
Yeah.
I agree. Maybe I will go down a little bit, only because I completely agree that there should have been more on both sides.
Yeah. Another thing, too, just before we go to spoilers, I got to throw it out there. If your plan is to get him shut down, is the smartest idea to make a documentary and put it on Disney Plus?
I know, and then to make everybody want to do it.
Because, like, that just fucking... There's so many people in the world that are like, I totally want to experience this. Like,
I'm going to be honest, no one's ever heard of it. I bring this up to people all the time.
Yeah. It went from an American thing to an international thing. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because you made this documentary. So, like...
Because, like, I keep bringing this up, and I'm like, oh, buddy, if you want a good, gross watch, man, you got to watch this. And they're like, what is it? And then I bring up whatever Macamee Manor, and they're like, what is that? And I'm like, how have nobody heard of this? This has been around for a while. And it's funny that, like, I think it's just the internet. I think it's on TikTok or it's on this, and I just keep refining these things.
Yeah. Okay, cool. We're going to move on to spoilers. Cool?
Yeah.
Next is spoilers. Spoilers.
Spoilers.
Spoilers.
Oh, spoilers. Steven, what is your biggest fear? If you were to be in this...
See, I don't want to tell anybody because then...
Yeah, because we're just going to bury you in a tub.
You know what? I think I've thought about that. I think I'd be okay. Claustrophobia isn't a big one for me. I feel like I'm pretty, like... If I get trapped in, like, a really small, confined area, I feel like I'd be all right with it. I feel like I could relax enough that I'd be, like, okay with it. But I could also see myself, like, all right, I want to get out of this. And if I couldn't, I could see myself having a fucking meltdown. But I feel like everybody could go through something like that. You know what I mean? Spiders, not a fan. Not a fan of spiders.
So I never felt claustrophobia until I was in that box filming the robot.
Oh,
and
shut up.
I think it's because it was so hot. So Steven is a director, and we did it coming out of my mouth. It sounds stupid, right? But it was so funny.
It's impossible for it not to sound stupid.
I
but
know. It's a robot movie, and we actually made the costumes out of cardboard. And Steven's like, you need the two, like me and my sister to do it because we're both identical height to the inch.
Yeah. And so, you're the smallest people that we have.
Yeah, got it, right? Like, but at least the robots were perfect, right?
Yeah.
And something about me standing there in the heat in this box, and the box is touching my nose. So I actually kind of panicked. Yeah, and it's like, because the body is my head.
Yeah.
So its head is above mine. So I had just the cardboard box around my face, and it's like, dude, I'm not doing okay. And I had to get our friend Becky to like walk over to the arm, and she's like, "You're okay, breathe." And I'm like, "I'm not okay." I'm like, I'm freaking out. But I don't even think, you know what? When I was watching this, I went, what would be my fear?
Yeah.
Would it be the dark? I'm not a fan of the dark. I hate it. But like if I could be in a dark room, it wouldn't deter me.
Yeah, I think I'd be alright with it.
It was whenever they started doing dental work
Oh, fuck that.
with no anesthetic, and the guy had tongs and he was pulling teeth.
Yeah.
When I saw that part, I went, oh, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
If a guy walked up to me and he's like, I'm going to pull your teeth, I'm like, the fuck you're not.
Yeah, you can
I'm
fuck
out.
right off.
Pineapple, safety, chicken, where the fuck the word is. I gotta go.
Yeah, well, that's the thing about this. That's the one thing about this, like, manor, this, like, torture chamber that is kind of fucked up is there is no safe word. Once you,
there
like...
is.
No, that's the thing. Once you get in there, I'm pretty sure that's it. You're not allowed out.
Oh, of course there is.
Is there? Because...
Yeah, it was called, like, safety or something. Yeah, you can get out immediately.
Can you?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you couldn't.
No, you can't.
I thought people... Really? Because
Yeah.
what the fuck are people complaining about then?
I don't know.
Like, the second somebody starts getting beat up, I'd be like, you know what? Safety.
Yeah, because
like,
they do ask a lot, because the one guy was getting, like, waterboarded, and he's like, do you want to go? And he
Yeah.
was like, no. Okay. And, like, they keep asking you over and over, like, buddy, are you good? Like, do you want to go? Yeah, I'm pretty sure the safety word is safety.
yeah, I want to say I do remember them saying that, but I want to say it
Oh,
doesn't
will
work.
it work is the question.
I don't think it works. I don't think they ask until like you're fucking done, and they're
Yeah.
like, and then he's like, all right, like you're done, like because he's never given the money out. But I want to say there was a guy that tried to expose him, that like it turns out that he was never gonna give the money. Like this guy, right?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Because there was a guy who broke into his email address and stole all of his emails,
Yeah.
and he said, which I feel like is illegal too, isn't that? I could be wrong.
Oh, yeah, it's hard to.
Yeah. But I feel like that guy was trying really hard to like no matter what I'm staying in, but then it turned out it was like he just like made him quit. I want to say he like forced him to quit. But
I think it's one of those when you get more closer to the end, they're gonna literally do what they have to
yeah.
make you quit.
Yeah.
Whether that's cutting off a finger, whether that's whatever
That's
they have to.
fucked up.
But it's, let's be real, $20,000.
Yeah.
And by the way, this Russ guy does this all himself.
Yeah.
He does all the tortures himself. Like he hired somebody at one point. It's one other person, but as far as I know, it's just him. Yeah, and so to get in, you have to like meet at a secure location, put a blindfold on, it's be put in a car and driven away, and it's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was positive that there's nothing that I'm that afraid of. I'm really not okay with centipedes. I'm not okay with like cockroaches, like American hissing like the big ones, because we don't have them here.
Yeah.
Not a fan. But can I be in a tub full for $20,000?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah.
But it's that pulling teeth part really got me, and I've never been the same since I saw that.
Well, that was it. Like, so they were like asking the people who worked with them, like, hey, what was the one that sent you over? The one that like made it so you were like, I no longer want to be a part of this. And the one guy was like, and I want to say a bunch of them were like, oh, so-and-so. It was like a girl's, it was a particular woman who was like, who did a tour, they call them in the mansion, and she came out and she just looked like she got the fucking shit kicked out of her.
Yeah.
But I'm like, there was a guy right before they brought her up, and his lips were so swollen that he couldn't speak, and I'm like,
Yeah.
that guy didn't fuck you up, like that guy's face is fucked up. Like, don't get me wrong, the girl got fucked up. She got like, it looks like she got boot fucked. But that guy's face is fucked up. They talked about a dude and his like eyes were swollen so bad he couldn't even open them. It's like, that didn't fuck you up. Like,
yeah, I saw that. Yeah, where his eyes were so swollen. Yeah, but you know what sucks is it might be from beating, but it might just be from dirt and mud and whatever's in your eye, and it might be just swelling, right?
Who fucking knows?
I know. The whole thing is, I can't believe this is a thing, and I can't believe that many people want to do it.
But that's it. And then there was even so they talk about how it evolved into something that they don't like, right? And that's kind of what the documentary is very much about. And then they go on. There's this other like
Yeah.
where it's the same thing, but
Yeah.
it's very like
It's very professional in a weird way.
yeah, and like very like it's more about like catharsis. It's very much about like having a cathartic moment.
Yeah.
In
Because
my
the one
opinion.
chick had to like knock and give a password to get in. It was all fucking weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that at the very end. And then they had to like sit in the chair at the end and he's like, "Are you okay?
Yeah.
How are you feeling?" And then she hugged him and it was like this weird like
It's like so they like I don't know. It's these
it's like a professional thing that like she's like, if you really want to do it, there are places that will do it.
yeah.
We just have to find it. I'm like, this is wild.
This is wild.
But the big turn of the movie is that the lawyer, which I did not know this, is kind of cool. You cannot sign your life away to somebody else.
yeah.
I'm not sure about Canada. I'm not sure. But I thought if I wrote in a document and I signed it and you signed it saying, Steven can kill me and you kill me, why is that not legal?
Oh well, that's no. There's because I want to say yeah. Because she says it. She's like
The lawyer in the movie.
yeah. She was like anything that it's like lasting bodily harm
Yeah.
or something like that, or psychological harm. It's kind of the same idea.
So she's like, you cannot have somebody actually disfigure you. You can't do that legally.
Yeah.
I don't understand why not.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, right? Even like because there's a lot of people who like want like assisted suicide, for example, like people who are like dying of a terrible.
Which is legal in Canada.
Yeah. So it is. I don't think it's is it legal in the States? I want to say it. I know there was a lot of problems.
I don't understand how it's legal at all when there's a serial killer in quotations in the States. I just saw his van in Las Vegas at like a museum who assisted suicide and he went to prison for it and he got called a serial killer. And it's like, they lied down on the bed and they pulled the lever themselves. How is that?
Yeah.
It's because he gave them all the tools. I don't know about the States though. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's weird that it's legal here and not there. You would feel like they'd be more, it's a free country over there, right?
No, they're not like that at all. Like they're
wild.
They're very much like even I don't know. Like I want to say the United States is progressive, but they're very like not. They want to be, but they're very like. Unfortunately, they're very much at odds with each other. Like,
Yeah.
And it's like very religious, very like so like very Catholic.
Well, and then don't do it. If you're religious, then don't do it. That's that. But
Well,
if some people want to do it.
That's the problem is, you'd think, even the idea where it's like, if you don't like it, don't watch it. But that's not good enough.
I know.
People are like, if I don't like it, I got to get it shut down.
I
And it's like,
know.
well, that's a fucked up way to think.
But honestly, if I was dying of stage 4 cancer, because I know somebody who just died, rest her soul, but she literally just went to skin and bones in her bed and just lied there. She couldn't eat, she couldn't sleep, and she just died. And it's like, why can't I
Yeah.
sign something and just get an injection that will say bye to my family, look normal, instead of that being the last time you see me?
Yeah.
I don't understand. Like, and it's sad that that's not a thing. I don't know where we're talking
This
right now.
fucking conversation
Where
went
did we turn?
deep.
Where did we turn? I'm just saying, right? Like, it should be legal. Anyways, what the hell?
You should be able to. So you're saying you should be able to sign your life away.
Yes.
The difference is, though, is you're signing your life. You're a very healthy person that is signing your life to a sociopath to do whatever you want. And I see what you're saying. You're saying legally I should be allowed to do whatever the fuck I want with my body. And I agree with you 100%. But
what I will add on to that, just get back to the negative side, because we're talking about negative and positives.
yeah.
Is that in Canada, it's not fair for me to get my teeth pulled and to get my bones broken and blah, 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 because I'm just going to go to a hospital and get everything fixed for free.
Well, that's where it gets fucked up. It's
While in the States, though, I pay for it. It's like I pay for it monthly and it's expensive, allegedly. I hear how much these people are paying for that. It's like, holy moly. While in Canada, it's like, oh, that's no fair to my country because I'm just going to go get fixed for free.
well, I mean,
Complain about the parking money and then the
Yeah,
$8
it's
for
true.
parking.
Fuck hospital parking.
Right? But like my teeth I have to pay for. I get that, but it's the whole point.
I hear what
guess.
you're saying.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I definitely learned a lot in this documentary, which is very surprising. I didn't think I was going to,
Yeah.
especially about myself. Now that I know my biggest fear, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
I finally have like an actual, like, I hate balloons, but I can I can touch a balloon. I can blow up balloons. I just don't like that sound. It's like, huh. But it's like that actually, I can't even picture me putting the clamp in my mouth. I don't even think it would get that far.
Oh, yeah. No.
I think it would get like to my lips. And I'm like, I'm out. Like, and I never actually experienced a big fear like that yet. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Like Dill's is heights. He can't even climb a staircase. He'll die.
Yeah. You know what? Okay, so yeah, heights. I don't know. Heights I'm alright with. So like, there's another thing. There's another thing that this actually reminded me a lot of. Actually, talking about giving your like body up to somebody else to do whatever the fuck they want, kind of thing. There was something that happened. I want to say it was in the 70s. It could have been earlier. It could have been later. I want to say it was around the 70s though. Called the Stanford Prison Experiment. I don't know if you ever heard of it.
I'm not sure.
They've made documentaries and movies and all that shit off of it. And what it was a group of college students that signed up for this experiment. And so in the basement of this college, could have been university, something anyway, some sort of educational center, they built a prison,
Okay.
like a makeshift prison. So if you're locked in a cage, you couldn't get out. That was like, it was like made. So
Yeah.
okay. And then they divided just randomly half of the people into prisoners and half of them into guards. And these are all people that go to school together. They're all friends with each other.
Okay, so they're all as intelligent as each
Yeah,
other.
yeah. And the whole idea is when you give somebody
Power.
but then you don't like, and you don't, sorry, I'm trying to think of the word, but you don't like,
Limit.
exactly
Rules.
you don't give them boundaries necessarily.
Boundaries,
you
that's
just
exactly
say
what it
like, these are your prisoners, you have to keep them in line. How far will they take it if they know there's no repercussions? And it ended up getting super violent.
Whoa.
Like where these fucking guards were beating the shit out of these prisoners because it's like, there's no repercussions, I might as well just do whatever the fuck I want.
Holy fuck.
And it was a true story. And it kind of reminded me of that. It's like this idea of like giving yourself up to almost an experiment. Like that's what I think of when I'm like, these people are like, I want somebody to do whatever the fuck they want to me. You know what I mean? And like, and
Russ going, well,
and he loves it.
I've
Yeah.
never actually, broken an arm before. Well, I know there's no repercussion.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. And that's the thing too is, and a lot of people are like everybody goes in thinking like, oh, I'm going to be the first person to die. It's like, well, no one's ever died before, so that's like kind of a thing to think about. Like,
Yeah.
It's like everybody who smokes too much weed is going to think, I'm the first person going to die from weed. We've all been there. Like, I've been there for sure before, where it's like, my heart's beating really fast. Like, I know you've been there before.
That was the last time I smoked. Yeah, it was like last year. I thought I was going to die on my stairwell.
Yeah, I know, that's why I brought it up.
And my sister is staring at me going, you're fine.
Like,
This
no
is
one's
good
ever died.
This
That's
is
it.
good shit. I'm like, I'm going to die. This is it.
Yeah, and they're thinking there's like someone's going to die one day. It's like, yeah, very possibly if he
By the
keeps-
way, it's legal in Canada, okay?
It is legal in Canada, that's why. But I also see the other side of it too, though, where they're like, yeah, no, I could understand the legal, like, I could see the legal part of it where it's like you're giving your body up, but like this Russ guy is also not a trained professional. You know what I mean? There's nothing really professional about him. So that's another thing to think about, where it's like, he's just some fucking dude. And like, and that was another thing too.
Past with a sick hobby.
Yeah. That's the thing too. And a lot of people referred to it as maybe like something sexual in nature, which I don't actually think it was.
I will say, yeah, that I guess we should have said it nearly the beginning. There's nothing sexual in this whole thing. Like, because a lot of people think torture, their biggest fear is to be raped.
Yeah, lots of stuff up the butt. Yeah.
There's nothing like that.
No butt stuff.
There's nothing like that. It's all just, which is kind of weird. Like, it's kind of like well, at least there's that.
Yeah. It doesn't go, yeah.
At least they have some sort of heart.
It's like, okay.
Which is sad. Yeah, raping is,
sodomy off the table.
Yeah.
Yeah, off the table.
Yeah, no latex, no nothing like that. Yeah, so at least there's that, because that is some women's fears.
Oh, like,
Especially,
I can only imagine.
especially men.
I'm a big fucking dude. Like I've never ever like I have never walked down the street and thought I should cross a street.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, or like, okay, there's this, and I might have said this on the podcast before, but every time I think of that, I think of, there was this show called Master of None that came out a couple of years ago.
Okay.
It was on Netflix. It's very good. I recommend it. Aziz Ansari is I want to say,
who I like.
the guy who like created it. He like wrote it. I want to say he directed most of it and he stars in it. But anyway, and there's this episode where he's at a bar. It's him and his buddy.
Yeah.
And then there's a girl that's at the bar and they're friends with this girl. They just know her. And they're like, oh, hey, how's it going? And they're talking and it's like 2 a.m. And then they're like, I'm leaving. And she's like, I'm leaving too. And then they like leave. And then they're like, well, we're going this way. And she's like, well, I'm going that way. So I'll see you guys later. And they're walking. And from their perspective, it's like a Three Stooges comedy where they're like, and they're like, they're hammered and they're like, oh my God.
But for her, she's looking all around her at everything.
Literally something out of a horror movie.
Yeah.
She's like, literally like the Halloween music is playing. Like, and you hear like the, and you see people like across the street. She's like, but
literally.
And I every time I think of like gender dynamics, that's what I think of, is like that idea where it's like, oh, that's 1000% what it's probably like.
It's because we did a podcast and I was listening to it. Yes, I listened to our podcast. And I asked you, when you get in your car, do you lock your door? Yeah. And you said no. I think it's so funny. That's the first thing girls do. We get in the car and we lock the door immediately. Yeah. And then we kind of look around and then we start our car. It's the weirdest thing, but it's like a whole different world is on both sides.
That was like one time you told me too, you always check your back seat too.
Always.
You know what's funny? You ever see the movie Urban Legend?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's like I literally watched it recently. It's one of the reasons why it's in my head, because of horror movie month.
Yeah.
It's a pretty decent slasher from like the early 2000s, where it's like every kill is based off of an urban legend.
Okay.
All right, so it's like they got like kind of a gimmick, they got like a hook like that, and so the opening is a girl goes to a gas station.
Yeah.
And so she gives the guy money to like pump the gas, and he's pumping the gas, and he's very creepy. He's very like, so, and it's just the two of them. And then he like tells her to come in, or like he makes it so she has to come inside. So it's like, oh, I'm sorry, your credit card didn't work. You have to come inside, which is it's fucking weird though. She's like, are you sure? What about this one? He's like, no, that one won't work either. You got to come inside. And then she's like, this is fucking weird. So then she like leaves the car. And then he gets really creepy, but he has a stutter, like a really bad stutter. Yeah. So what ends up happening is she thinks he's assaulting her. So she like runs away and it's like this big like fucking, and then she gets in the truck and she drives away. And what it turns out is, as he was pumping the gas, he noticed that there was somebody in the backseat of her car. And he was trying to tell her this, but he had a stutter and it was tripping her out. So she got back in the car and drove away. And sure enough, the guy fucking gets her. But yeah, so it's like, that's what I think of every time. It's like, yeah, Ashley, check the backseat of your car.
I always do. I luck out that I only have like I'm not bragging in any way, but I have like a sport car, so I have no backseat. Yeah. So I luck out because I literally look, I'm like, well, no one's going to be on the floor. It's just the seat. When I have an SUV, I'm screwed because now I got to walk all the way to the trunk, look in the trunk, and then get in, and then look at my backseat. It's like a whole process. Yeah. It's like, boogers. I check, man. I don't trust anybody.
I don't blame you.
Anyways, we're really
the only time it fucking gets me is if I'm driving in the middle of nowhere and it's like pitch black.
I hate that.
And sometimes I look in the rearview mirror and I'm like, if somebody's sitting there, I'm just gonna fucking. That's it. Like. But that's just my own brain.
When I get that feeling, I actually feel like it's somebody sitting back there, and I'm one of those. I'm open to that. So I'm like, hi, I see you. Thank you for, being here. And I just got to talk. Yeah. It calms me a little bit. Yeah, I'm like, thank you for being here. Yeah, I feel you. You're okay. But I'm weird. I'll be lying in bed, and I have my mask on because I have like a blindfold. And then I'll open it because I feel someone is staring at me. And I go, it's okay. Good night. I feel you. You're okay. And I just talk to it. I feel like that sometimes too, where I'm like sleeping and I'm like, I feel like someone's standing over me, and always. I like look and there's nobody there, but I'm like, one day somebody will just be standing in my doorway. I know. It'll be the creepiest fucking thing in the world. I know. My apartment, you can't get in. You physically can't.
Yeah.
Because there's no roof to climb on to get in my window on the second floor. It's when I own a house.
There's some dude out there that's like, challenge accepted.
I know, I know. Go ahead, man. But all my windows are locked. There's no window that's open. You're screwed. Good luck. Go ahead. Honestly, if you can get in, kill me. That's worth it. Whoa. You did really good.
Hold up.
I always say, they're like, if a robber comes in your house, like, what's the most expensive thing you own? And I'm like, well, besides my Magic deck, which no one would ever take, my Magic the Gathering deck, it would be my piano. But if you lug that bitch all the way down the stairs, you can keep it. Yeah. Like, good for you, bro. Like, luck. You really did work. You can keep it, enjoy it. It's all you, boo. Learn a craft. All right. Like, I'll just get another one. It's all good. But yeah,
it's like the stalker just starts sending you like tape recordings of them playing the piano.
And like, I found your Ludovico Unati little sheets.
I'm getting better. Watch.
I'm like, you're level 2.
You're like, oh, chopsticks.
Good job. Chopsticks. Good job. Is that Primavera? Good job. Yeah. Yeah, it's. I really like the documentary. I'm really happy I watched it. I'm happy you watched it. Thank you for watching it.
Oh, of course.
I have met some people that thought it was just okay. They didn't really get awkward about it. But I'm happy you watched it. It's awesome.
No, that was good. Thank you for, I love documentaries. I'm a big fan of them, actually. Yeah. I don't watch them enough. Documentaries are one of those things where, like, 9 times out of 10 when I put a documentary on, no matter what, I'm fascinated by it. It's like usually it's, I don't know. You have to really fucking suck to like make a shitty documentary. I find. I don't know, but that's just me. Cool. Is there anything else you want to talk about?
No, that's everything.
I think that's it too. Cool. Till next time.
Bye. Bye.